Life on Mars. It's a phrase you've probably heard more times than you can count. Every few years, a new headline pops up, promising that we've finally cracked the code. A strange rock, a chemical reaction, a blurry image. Each one hyped as the ultimate proof that we're not alone. And now the news is everywhere again. NASA's Perseverance rover drilled into a rock that could hold the clearest evidence of life on Mars ever discovered. You've probably seen the posts, the tweets, maybe even full videos on it already. But here's the truth. This isn't the story you think it is. What Perseverance found is incredible. Maybe the most important discovery in the history of Mars exploration. But it's not proof of aliens. Not yet. So let's cut through the noise. Let's look at what NASA really found, why scientists are so cautious, and why this one strange rock might finally bring us closer to answering humanity's oldest question. Are we alone? This isn't the first time Mars has teased us. Our obsession with finding life there goes back decades, and history is littered with false alarms. In 1976, NASA's Viking landers ran the first ever life detection experiments on Mars. They mixed Martian soil with nutrients, hoping any microbes would eat and release gas. At first, the data looked promising. Gas started bubbling out, and scientists thought, that's it. We've done it. Life on Mars? But the excitement didn't last. Follow-up studies showed the soil chemistry itself could explain the reaction. No microbes needed, just some nasty reactive salts. Mars had trolled us. Fast forward to the 1990s. A Martian meteorite found in Antarctica made headlines worldwide. Under the microscope, scientists saw tiny structures that looked like fossilized bacteria. President Bill Clinton even went on TV to call it a breakthrough. But later, most experts agreed those shapes could form without life at all. Another mirage. Then came the rovers: Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity. Each one uncovering evidence that Mars was once wet and potentially habitable. Rivers, lakes, even long-lost deltas. Incredible discoveries, but still no smoking gun. The closest we got were organic molecules, carbon compounds that are essential for life, but not proof of it. So if you feel a little skeptical every time you see a headline screaming, "Life found on Mars," you're not wrong. We've been burned before. But that's exactly what makes Perseverance's new discovery so interesting. Because this time, the evidence doesn't just hint at life, it corners us into asking whether life is actually the simplest explanation. Enter Perseverance, NASA's most advanced rover sent straight into Jezero Crater, a place scientists believe was once a giant lake. If Mars ever hosted life, this was one of the best spots to look. In mid-2023, Perseverance rolled up to a slab of ancient mudstone, a rock formed billions of years ago when that lake still existed. And on its surface, strange markings, tiny black specks, dark circular rings. The team gave them nicknames of poppy seeds and leopard spots. On Earth, patterns like this almost always trace back to biology. Perseverance ran its full arsenal of tools. PIXL to identify elements, Sherlock to scan for organics, and what it found made the science team stop cold. Right where those spots were, the rock contained organic molecules, carbon-based compounds, the building blocks of life. Even more, it held iron, phosphorus, sulfur, and two very specific minerals, vivianite and greigite. Why does that matter? Because on Earth, vivianite and greigite almost always show up where microbes were active. Think of them as nature's receipts, evidence that tiny organisms were eating, breathing, and leaving behind mineral waste. In other words, this Martian rock doesn't just look weird. Chemically, it behaves exactly like mud that was once alive. Now, before you break out the champagne, no, this is not proof. Nature has tricks up its sleeve. Sometimes heat, acid, or random chemistry can mimic life. And NASA knows better than anyone that extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. So they did the most important thing they could: drilled a core, sealed it in a titanium tube, and stored it for the day we can finally bring it back to Earth. That sample could answer the question once and for all. Until then, all we have are tantalizing clues, but these might be the strongest yet. It all sounds convincing. A Martian rock with the same chemical fingerprints as microbial life on Earth. But here's the catch. Mars has fooled us before. And science doesn't run on gut feelings. It runs on eliminating every other explanation first. So scientists asked, could this pattern be made without life? The first suspect, heat. If the rock was cooked at high temperatures for long enough, the same minerals could form. But there's no evidence the area was ever that hot. In fact, vivianite, one of the key minerals, can't survive high heat. It would have been destroyed. The second option was acid. If really acidic water had flowed through, it might mimic biology. But here's the problem. The rock also contains olivine, a mineral that acid destroys, and olivine is still there, untouched. The third idea was pure chemistry. Maybe the organic molecules reacted on their own with a catalyst, no life required. Possible, but at low Martian temperatures, extremely unlikely. So after years of review, scientists were left with this.
And after a year of review, they've come back and they said, listen, we can't find another explanation. So this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars.
None of the non-biological explanations fit. That doesn't mean it's life. It means the best explanation we have right now is life. And that's a dangerous line to walk in science. Carl Sagan said it best. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And there's no claim more extraordinary than saying you've found aliens, which is why NASA is holding back. Officially, these are potential biosignatures, not fossils, not proof. Potential. The truth is, Perseverance has done everything it can. To be sure, we need to bring that core back to Earth and throw the full power of our labs at it. That means Mars sample return, a multi-mission relay race to grab these sealed tubes and fly them home. If all goes well, maybe in the 2030s, we'll finally have our answer. If this discovery holds up, if those leopard spots really are the fingerprints of ancient microbes, then we're staring at a truth far bigger than Mars itself. Because that would mean life sparked on two planets in the same solar system. Not billions of light years away, not on some exotic exoplanet. Right next door. And if it happened twice here, maybe it happens everywhere. Of course, the romantic version of this is aliens all over the galaxy. But slow down. Microbes are not little green men. The universe might be packed with bacteria, while intelligent civilizations are vanishingly rare. That's where the Great Filter comes in. The idea that something, somewhere along the path from single cells to starfaring species, wipes most of them out. And if that's true, finding fossils on Mars isn't just exciting, it's unsettling. There's also the panspermia question. Maybe life didn't start on Earth at all. Maybe it began on Mars, got blasted off the surface by an asteroid, and hitched a ride here on a rock. Which would mean we're the Martians. Either way, the implications are massive. If life can spark in multiple places, then the universe may not be silent after all. It may just be waiting for us to learn how to listen. So, what's the truth about life on Mars? The truth is, we don't have proof. Not yet. What Perseverance found is the strongest evidence so far. Organic molecules, strange mineral patterns, and chemistry that looks suspiciously like microbial leftovers. But until those samples are in our labs on Earth, it will stay what it is now, a mystery. We've been here before. False alarms, headlines, broken promises. This time feels different, stronger, more compelling. But science demands patience. If it's real, we'll prove it. If it's not, we'll learn something just as valuable about Mars and about how life leaves its fingerprints. Either way, the search changes us. Because every time we get closer to answering that question, are we alone? We're reminded that the universe is vast, ancient, and still holding secrets we've barely begun to uncover. And maybe, just maybe, one strange rock on a distant world has already whispered the answer.